Joining me now to continue the conversation, someone who knows the agency well, it's former acting DHS Deputy Secretary Ken Cuccinelli. Ken, thanks for being with us. Before we get into the ICE Border Patrol potential conflict inside of DHS, what do you make of that video you just saw of that truck driver pulled over in Arkansas?
Yeah, look, there are real life consequences to the political virtue signaling that goes on in states like California and New York, where they're handing out these CDL driver's licenses. These have real consequences all over the country. If you don't know how to get around this country, if you don't actually have accountability, if your name, for instance, isn't even on the license correctly, and you can't speak English, that's a danger to everybody else. I mean, these 50 states and the District of Columbia, we all count on each other to maintain certain standards so we keep each other's people safe, not just our own, because of the interstate nature of our lives these days. And this is a real failing by those, frankly, left-leaning states for all the rest of us in America. And it's putting our safety at risk, as we see in all these tragic circumstances.
All right, Fox News is reporting on this conflict inside of DHS. On one hand, a group that wants to ramp up the deportation numbers, focusing on all illegal immigrants. On the other, reportedly, Tom Homan, Todd Lyons, those who want to focus on criminal illegal aliens and those with final deportation orders. Whoever seems to be placed in charge, Ken, it does seem clear that the administration wants these numbers to be higher, deportations.
Right. Yeah, and that's the key to focus on. I can't speak to, the personal differences in terms of how to approach this. I will say that the pool of criminal aliens, along with those with already existing deportation orders, is almost 2 million people. So when you have a president who wants to be deporting about 1 million a year, that's a 2-year pool if they were hitting their numbers. But, Will, you noted they're not hitting their numbers. They're below half of what the president wants in terms of a daily success rate. So how do you get those numbers up? Well, you go after the most efficient pools. And those are the ones who already have due process or for whom you have quick routes out, like the criminal aliens, all while you should be beefing up the number of judges and lawyers and so forth processing the incoming folks. And that isn't to say there isn't crossover between the two approaches that you described there. When you go find a criminal alien in his home, chances are he's living with, pick your number, 3, 5, 6, 10 other people who are probably here illegally. And those are folks who, now you've found them, the Biden administration would leave them alone and wouldn't touch them because they weren't on their target list. The change for efficiency to move the numbers faster is to grab those folks in an already existing efficient operation and put them into the deportation pipeline and get that due process going for those folks and get it done with. So by the time you finish deporting the 2 million or so, first 2 million, you have a new pool in place, already processed. They've already been through the court system, and they can be moved out of this country quickly. Yeah. This is a tough management challenge, but there are better ways to do it.
Why is this a tough management challenge? And you're the one who's been sitting in that seat, if there is a pool of 2 million that fit the final deportation or criminal records list, then why are we less than half of what the target list would be to get that 1 million per year deported from America?
That's a great question, Will. So think of this, instead of thinking immigration, think the U.S. Marshals on a fugitive hunt. Look, these are people who at this point don't want to be found by the U.S. government. Every one of those 1.8 or 1.9 million people are fugitives from justice. You've got to find where they are. You've got to set a plan that keeps your officers safe to pick that person up. And then typically you're working with other levels of law enforcement, state and local. That's a different kind of political issue. But all of that doesn't just happen. You just don't show up at work and say, well, we're going to go get number 1 today and go do it. There's a lot of planning and preparation and the organization of manpower in different cities and regions in the country and detention space to hold them for the short period between picking them up and typically flying them home to their home countries. And you've got to have the paperwork that your partners in the State Department have to make the arrangements for. There are a lot of logistics that go into removing groups of people from the United States. And if they can't get the size of the pipeline, if they can't agree on how they're going to set up the pipeline, then all the other parts of the pipeline get inefficient, and it slows everything down. And I think that's where the frustration from the president is probably coming from.
Sure is easier to enter the country illegally than it is to be deported legally.
It sure is.
All right, Ken Cuccinelli, thank you so much for your time.
Good to be with you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.